settle for the ghost of you. I miss you more than life. I miss you
Lose it,
more
reuse
than
it.
So, if you think about it, if you were to look at 10 years back, actually more like 15 years in the past, most typical smartphones were normally Blackberries and flip phones and sidekicks. Most of them had, some of them had touchscreens, which were they were terrible that you needed to use the stylus with them. But um, back in 2007, Apple did something which would change the smartphone industry forever.
Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone, and we are calling it iPhone.
The iPhone 2G was released. It was $500 at the time, and it was one of those iPhones which it was actually a very big success. It changed the phone industry forever. And I've got an iPhone right here, which, yes, it may not be the first iPhone, but it's still an iPhone, which this is the iPhone 3GS, which came out in 2009, which I gotta say real quickly, this was my mom's. It's still my mom's, but she let me borrow it for this video. But this iPhone was revolutionary. It was 3GS. 3G meant the S in 3GS meant speed. I gotta say that this iPhone was I actually used this as kind of one of those phones, like a special phone or something like that. But this phone was a deal breaker. Like, the thing is, you think about it, the iPhone 3GS was it definitely was a lot, like, it was definitely more of a, not only was the iPhone revolutionary in like hardware and software perspective, it changed everybody's life. In fact, if you think about it, 10 years later, after the original iPhone was out, most people were using smartphones with touchscreens like these. And it's insane because most people didn't know that a smartphone was needed in their life, or a phone with a touchscreen was gonna be so much of a success. Now, one thing which I can show you right now, which I will do right now, is the camera, which I will take a few pictures. In fact, I'm going to take a picture and a video right now to show you the quality of it. So I'm going to... Okay, so 3, 2, 1. There's the picture. In fact, at the time, I don't know what the quality was. I think it was less than a few... I think it was less than 1 megapixel. No, actually, the original iPhone had a 2 megapixel camera. I think this has 3 megapixels or something like that. I'm not sure. I'll try to type in what the quality was. But I'm going to show you the video as it is right now. Alright, so this is the video quality of the iPhone 3GS. This is what I'm recording with right now. And yeah, this is a Game Boy. Nintendo stuff for a video, which I'm going to turn that off right now. But yeah, this is my setup a little bit. Got the computer right there. And yeah, here we go. Definitely was a lot different. But back in 2009, back in 2009, videos were something that the iPhone didn't really have until the iPhone 3GS came out, which was I think it was on iOS 3 maybe. But as it is, this iPhone is actually running the OS that it's currently running right now is iOS 4.1.2. Wait, or let me rephrase that. 4.2.1, which was 2010, which was more like 2010. But this iPhone had so much going for it. Like, it was an iPod, a phone, and a web browser as well. But I think this was also the year when the iPhone also got an app store. So by the time that the app store came out, it had 500 apps on it, and it was a decent success. But yeah, I know I got to do the iconic slide to unlock. There we go. But the thing is, back in 2009, this was a pretty the iPhone was definitely in a hard spot when it came to the phone industry, because most phones still had keyboards on the bottom of them. Android would be invented in 2010, but this thing would be the hardship of what iPhones were. Now, because the iPhone is it didn't have a front-facing camera, nor did it have a flash on the back, because it just didn't have one. But the iPhone was definitely it was definitely more of like because the thing is that it had changed basically. It did so much more than what most typical smartphones could do. This was thin at the time. When you think about it, if it wasn't for the iPhone, phones wouldn't have been the way they are. But the thing is, I mean, this is not basically how Apple gained its success, but it was definitely one of the ways that they got into the phone industry. So I'm going to end that note with basically. I'm just going to say this now, but the iPhone changed everything. So I want to say thank you guys for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.